Good morning, everybody. Got my coffee, got my vape. Let's talk a little. So this is an extra, maybe a refill of a coffee with Phil this week. I'm doing the extra one because I had something on my mind and I didn't want to lose, and I knew if I waited all the way till Wednesday that I'd think of something else to talk about. And I think this is important. First off, I'm really overwhelmed with all the responses. I asked on my last Coffee with Phil for you to put in the comments if you like this and if you thought that I should keep doing it. And I got some really cool feedback, and I really appreciate it. So I'm thinking Wednesday probably fits in with my schedule, because Tuesday and Thursday mornings I watch Scott the Bearded Picker's got an early morning show. Steve Alcorn is on there, and Simo Picker, Jerry the Simo Picker's on there, and they have other people that kind of jump in. So but anyway, I do that on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and Friday mornings I usually do estate sales. So Wednesday, now don't hold me to that. Be a little bit patient with me. So cheers, take a sip. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today was there's a lot of talk about momentum, and it's good. Momentum is awesome. The Crazy Picker Life started, I think, this big discussion, and a few people have picked up on it. Lonnie from Garage Flips is one of those, and I watch both of them every single day and pick up things. I think there's some things that I wanted to emphasize, actually, that they do in there, that they've said, that I think are really important, because I've heard momentum a lot over my years being in business, and it just doesn't have to do with business, but I didn't understand it until it was explained to me exactly what momentum is. Momentum isn't the getting more money in, bringing your business income higher. That's kind of a byproduct, and that may be a goal. It's not expanding your time and the effort that you put into it, although that is an important aspect of it and might be a byproduct. Let's start with the basic explanation of momentum. Momentum, I like to think of a big giant wheel that you're rolling, or a rock that you're rolling, and actually a big giant wheel that you're pushing, kind of like that thing on the I think it's the carousel on the playground. You see the little kids on there. You get a bunch of kids on there, and there's one kid that's ambitious enough. He starts pushing, and the other kids aren't helping him. If you look, he's struggling to push that thing to get it going. It takes a lot of effort to start something moving. Things in rest mode tend to stay in rest mode. Things in motion tend to stay in motion. And but if you notice, it gets easier and easier. To a certain point, it gets easier and easier, and at some point, that carousel takes on its own momentum. And if he doesn't jump on at that point, he's going to be face down in the dirt. And then all it takes is just every once in a while jumping off and just pushing it. It doesn't take a whole lot to keep that momentum going. And that's the point of momentum. It's to get whatever you're doing to a point where it doesn't have that effort anymore, and it gets bigger. And kind of like spinning plates, it's hard to get plates on those things. Back in the 70s, that was a big thing. People were on all kinds of shows and stuff, and they would put 5 or 6 sticks up, and they'd have these plates spinning, and they'd be jumping all around trying to keep them going. But once they got their own momentum, then all it took was them to just reach over and just kind of swipe to keep them going and to gain from there. So that's basically what momentum is. And the symptoms, well, and it's not the symptoms, but the things that you will experience almost every time with momentum. Here's some of the things: is it takes a lot to get it going. It takes some big changes. It's important to write your goals down. Even like Lonnie, his goals are to just do the best he can do in certain areas. And that is actually a goal. And then it's got to be trackable. You have to be able to put it in a trackable where you can say, this is what I did yesterday, this is what I did today, and this is what I'm going to do tomorrow, so that you can see the difference. It's real easy to get frustrated because it's difficult, and it takes some changes. But if you can see that, then you can actually see how much you're improving. You can tweak your processes, and you can move on. Now, like with Crazy Picker Life, one of the things I love about him is he and Wheeler is they set these BHAGs, these big, audacious, hairy goals, and they just throw into it. But you really have to be careful about what goals you set, because the bigger the goals in the shorter period of time, the more effort it's going to take. Another thing with going with momentum is that it gets harder before it gets easier. There's going to be a lot of times that you're going to want to give up. So it really helps to have some kind of accountability. Now, everybody's different. I don't get accountability from other people. I don't need it. I get enough accountability from me, because, well, I tell you what, I'm my biggest critic, and I can push myself along pretty good. It helps to have a coach, somebody on the outside though that can look in and see what you're doing and point things out to you. One of the things, the reason why I wanted to do this today, I just watched a video by Lonnie that he put out yesterday, and he was talking about, at the very end, he was talking about the challenges he was having mostly with his time and balancing things. And the reason for that was because he was getting some momentum, and his business was growing and his income was coming in. And that's definitely a symptom of growth, is that especially with time and resources, you have challenges with it. But and that's really cool to watch. I mean, I love watching the stuff that Lonnie picks up, and I love watching his processes through his business. But I really pick up those little nuggets of watching him go through this growth and seeing how he does it. I really love that. But anyway, it's the next thing that he said. He said, I'm not looking for any answers. And basically what he's saying is, don't send me a lot of suggestions. And that is key, especially the larger your big business grows, especially if you're doing it pretty much by yourself. You have to be careful about who you get advice from. You need to find one or two people that you go to on a regular basis that have fruit on the tree that you want to duplicate, that you know that if they give you advice, you trust their advice is going to be your best, and they know what they know what they're talking about, and it's going to be your best interest in mind. What is the term? I hear it a lot in the resellers, and I think it's used wrong. Oh gosh, what is it? The mind group? No, mind thought. Oh golly. Well, I'm gonna have to come back to that, because I'll it'll pop up, and I'll just blur it out. I'll move on to the next point. But one thing also with momentum is, and again, this has to do with life. This has to do if you want to lose weight, if you want to exercise more, if you want to stop drinking Diet Cokes, Scott. No matter what it is, this is what the momentum it takes. And one thing that I have discovered over the years is that you're going to want to give up. There's going to be points where you're going to say, this is crazy, I want to give up. And that's when, again, it helps to have somebody that you trust to not say, attaboy, you can do it necessarily, but just to say, well, you know what, this, and this is going well. This, you need to if you just push through, then you can get it done. And what I have found is the biggest time that you want to give up is right before a breakthrough. I don't know why that is. I never discovered why that is, but it's a fact. I saw a meme once that it showed like you were in the ground watching two guys with pickaxes tunneling, and you had one guy that was, and at the end you saw a cave that had diamonds in it, full of diamonds. You saw one guy that was tunneling his way, and he had a long way to go, but he was just going at it, and he was happy, and he was motivated. And then you had the other guy that was right below him, and he was walking all depressed and had given up, and he was walking away. And you could see that he had that much dirt between him and those diamonds. So that's a very important thing, is to keep pushing through. If you need to take a breather, change the subject, and come back, do it. Do whatever it takes, but don't give up, because it seems like it's hardest right before it pulls over and that momentum starts taking. And then the idea is not that you're going to have to keep that going forever. That's one of the thoughts is, well, I can't keep this up. How am I going to keep this up forever? And then when the momentum kicks in, it's just going to be worse. Well, no, actually, that's the point of momentum, is once you get it going, it takes limited effort, little effort, to be able to keep it going, and then to get it to go faster. Mind tanks. Gosh, what is that? It's a group of people that get together and they share ideas. Thought tank, thought group. You guys put it in the. I'm just going to continue with it. You put it in the comments. I know you're screaming at the screen right now, but anyway, what that is you have a limited amount of people. You have 4 or 5 people that you trust, that have success, that are on the same path that you are. Think tank. Yes. And you share ideas. You share with each other what's going on with you, your challenges, your successes, and everybody gives their advice to other people if they feel like they have some advice to give. But these are people you trust. And these think tanks can come up with amazing, amazing things because you have that group of people. But it's not just a bunch of people sitting around with a beer or with a cup of coffee and just shooting the shit. So anyway, I think I've beat that dead horse. There are just so many little nuggets that can be gained from watching, and I would suggest it. I will put the links to Crazy Picker Life and the links for Lonnie. Watch them daily. Watch them every single time they put out a video. And with the Crazy Picker Life, I like that. Oh, here's another thing. They don't talk about the money. I know Crazy Picker Life has mentioned that he's had some comments that they don't talk about the money and the numbers and things like that. He talks about, this is the process that we're going through. This is what we're emotionally going through. This is how we fix that. This is how we push through. And the money is just a byproduct. The business growing is just a byproduct. If that is your number one goal and you focus on that, you'll never gain momentum. You just won't. You have to, I think a very wise man once told me, is to make your big giant goal, make your plan to get there, forget about the goal, and focus on the plan day to day to day to day. So anyway, there's great things that you can pick up from them, but don't just zone out and don't just focus on the cool things that are going on, but listen to some of the things they say and how they say it. You can get a lot from that. So anyway, that's it. Hold on just a second. I'll have another one of these probably on Wednesday. So if you like it, please comment, please share, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the ringy dingy thing so I let you know every next time that I do one of these things. And put down what's your ideas on momentum. What are your goals for your business? What are your goals for your life? I'd love to hear it. As always, no matter what tune that life plays, you always find your groove. Thanks for sitting with me. Come back and see me.